Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in our Lost Items page from Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford, and we have this rosette today. You don't really see rosettes, do you, anymore? It's something, I sort of associate them with horses. I know it sounds a bit strange, but you know, I'm going to start with number 53. When I was a child, we used to have them. I'm going to go all over the outside part. I'm not going to do the middle yet with this light colour. This, as I say, it's 53. It's called lime green. When I was a child and we had like sports day in primary school, you know, up to 11 primary school, we would win rosettes, first, second and third. We'd get a little rosette, and the PTA, I think, the Parent Teachers Association, would spend ages making them out of crepe paper, and they would sort of be stapled together. They would sort of cut and fold the paper and then staple it and then glue a piece on the middle with 1, 2 or 3 on. And you'd have different colours for first, second and third. And then if at the end of the day there was a person without one, they would get one for taking part or something like that. Though I don't know if they did that so much in those days, because, you know, nowadays it's all about, you know, people can't win and lose, it's unfair and all this sort of thing. You know, when my boys were in primary school, they had non-competitive sports day, and they didn't note who won or lost. This is number 52. I'm going to start putting some darker areas in. I think there's some shadow here, and then I'm going to fade that across to the edge like that. Keep it pale on the end. I'm going to do that with each one. So I'm just layering up more here, then not quite so much here, and then just doing less and less layers until I feel that it's blended in. Okay. Now it is a bit messy. I'm going to go back over with the lighter green afterwards, and hopefully it'll bring it all together, but we'll see. So yeah, so there weren't rosettes at my children's sports day, and you just got house points for taking part in the various races. And now I see, like, when horses do events, I think, do they do it for dog shows as well? They give out rosettes, but they don't really give them to people. I think we like medals. I've noticed this more when you can buy plastic medals from supermarkets and things, and I think schools tend to have those nowadays for the children, and little plastic trophies. You know, they're sort of painted silver or whatever, so I think they do those instead. But anyway. But this was precious rosette. The reason I chose to do it green, by the way, is because there's a floral design in the middle. So I thought, I spotted that, and I also looked around the page and there weren't many green items really that we've done for a while. Yeah, there is a bag above here with green leaves, and then above that again there's the green clover, and above that again is a green plant. So there's quite a lot of green in this column, but in this general little area there isn't loads, so I thought it would balance the colours a little bit as well. And I also wanted to use a colour that I had a lot of different shades of, and green, and I had thought about purple, but there's only 2. So we've only really got the violet and the lavender, so I thought there's loads of greens, which is great because I always use loads of greens. So yeah. That's good. So yeah, this is bringing back memories of my sports day. I remember my primary school didn't have a playing field. We had a hard playground. So there was a sports stadium near the school, which has now been knocked down. It's a housing estate and a road. But anyway, there was a stadium. It was like a football stadium. So there were stands in it, which was like an area where you could sit and watch the football. But there was no changing room or anything, but we changed at school, and then we would just cross the road, and we had a lollipop lady. I'm saying all sorts of things that people who aren't from the UK might not have an idea what I'm talking about. So there's a lollipop lady. They stand in the road and stop the traffic with like a sign which says stop children crossing or something. So the lollipop lady would come and stop all the traffic for us and get us across the road, and then we'd walk to the stadium, and it was minutes away. It was just almost completely across the road. And we would go there every week actually for our PE lessons anyway, because there was grass, which was nice. And then we would do our races, and we would have, you'd have the normal running race. I'm going to put a dark line around the edge of here because I think this would have a shadow. Yeah, you'd have a running race. You'd have a three-legged race where two of you would pair up with someone, and you would have your legs tied together, just your middle legs, so your outside legs were loose, and you would run with 3 legs. Very old. I'm looking at what to do for the centre. I'm going to grab the 50 and do the sort of background in number 50. I'm going to make it quite intense. So I'm going to layer it up a bit. And then we would have a wheelbarrow race. So one person would be on their hands and knees, the other one would grab their legs, and they would run along. So the person on their hands and knees would run on their hands, sort of thing, and the other one would run on their legs. They'd run along. There would be a slow bicycle race for the oldest class, because they would have done their cycling proficiency to their bikes, and they would have to pedal really slowly, but they weren't allowed to put their feet down on the floor or else they lost. There was a technique, and which we learnt. It was, some of us learnt. When I did that race, I remember number 5 for these little leaves in the middle. I remember there were 3 of us left, so I knew I was going to get a rosette if I didn't put my feet down. So I cycled really fast and got across the finish line so that I could get my 3rd place rosette. So that was fun, because if you put your feet down you didn't get anything, even if you were like the last person to do it. And there was a sack race, so you would basically stand in a sack and hop. No jump, not hop. That'd be weird. I'm going to go a bit dark around the edge. And there was a backwards running race, I seem to remember. And the parents' race, of course, which my parents, I think my dad did a few times. No, I don't think my dad ever came. He was always at work. I don't think, I just seem to, maybe he came once. My mum never took part. She didn't like running. So I used to ask her and she would never do it. But then there was parents' races at my kids' school and I never did them. Just carrying on with the family tradition, you know. I'm just going to do a little bit of shadow underneath the label here where it's next to this bit of ribbon. So I'm using 52. And I'm just going to go along here like that and there. So there we go. Happy memories of Sports Day. So there is your rosette. Well done for colouring. If you coloured this, you can have that rosette. You'll have to all share it. It's only one. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a really lovely day. Please remember to subscribe and like. And yeah, happy colouring.